I know what you're thinking. The video quality is a bit worse than normal. The audio quality is a bit worse than normal. Unfortunately, my iPhone has decided to throw up, which is conveniently enough what I wanted to do after today's Eagles game. They went into it with the perfect scenario. They controlled their own destiny, something this team loves to do in the Doug Peterson era, but the controlling they did this time was pressing the nuke button and blowing up the entire thing. They put out an embarrassing performance against the Dallas Cowboys. It has left you guys just as angry as it's left me. So let's dive in to your best reactions from tonight's absolute gut-wrencher of a game. Series and don't know how this works, it's pretty simple. I asked for your reactions after the game in two places. One of them is on my Twitter account at Liam Jenkins PSN. The second is in our Flick Sports group chat, PSN Eagles Nation. If you want to join it, there's a link in the description below. It's a place to get all of you guys in one place, almost like a post-game therapy, if you will, full of Eagles fans. We've got over 600 members and we would love to have you as part of our community. And also just a big shout to anyone who watched our awards show this past week. I know I took a few days off over Christmas, trying to just get some rest in before the end of the year, but it's been amazing being able to bring you guys coverage this year. And as heartbreaking as the Eagles are, I hope to continue this for many more years. So let's get into your reactions. The first one comes from Flick Sports with Semi, who has types of headaches, migraine, hypertension, stress, Howie and the coaching stuff. We're going to get to that a bit later. But yeah, the Eagles obviously in salary cap hell next year with a roster where a lot of the players should theoretically be expendable. We can talk all day about Doug Peterson, and I'm sure we're going to. There's a lot of stress involved here, especially in a game where the Eagles jumped out to a 14-3 lead. It was their biggest lead since week 1. They'd never had a double-digit lead since then. It was their first one in 16 weeks, and they still found a way to just flip it totally and end up being blown out. Not a vibe. Easy says, phew, glad that's over. I don't blame him. That was absolutely tragic. He got to about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and even I was questioning my own sanity at that point, and it was just terrible in every single aspect. And I don't want to poke at Michael Jaquette and Jaquette ass pussy, because I do feel like it was thrown to the wolves a little bit. Obviously, last week there was that unknown and the undrafted hero aspect, but this week there was a clear targeting element. We know Darius Slay had locked up Amari Cooper in games past, so Andy Dalton just goes to the other side of the field and picks on an undrafted free agent who isn't going to be as quick as someone like Michael Gallup. Gallup is a speedster. What we saw from Michael Jacket was the Rasul Douglas problem. A guy that's taller, has a much longer wingspan, doesn't have the speed that someone like Darius Slay does. I think they should have switched that matchup. They didn't. They eventually put Jalen Mills in there, which did a load of good for some reason. Yeah, I don't want to pick on him specifically. That was just the tip of the iceberg, but it was a train wreck from top to bottom. With regards to what's going on in this clip here, though, from Fire Doug and Howie, no idea. I mean, that is another Jamon Brown moment. Now, I mean, it's not as bad as sacking your quarterback, but it's certainly up there and probably accurately sums up exactly what happened today. Jarrell says Eagles fans realising the true villain has been Doug all along, and I don't want to spend this video talking about just Doug Peterson, but the fact the Eagles started out against the worst defense in the NFL, bullying the ball down their throats, running, I think it was 11 rushes, 2 passes after that first drive, got the ball into the end zone, everything's fantastic, the Eagles are on top of the world after those opening few possessions, then they just sort of stop a little bit and they get away. And I understand Miles had 15 carries, but a lot of those were in the first half. In the second half, the second the Cowboys got back into the game, run wasn't there. And the most infuriating point of all, 4th and 15, you're in field goal range. You've got a chance for a 51-yard field goal. I know Jake Elliott isn't the most accurate kicker this season, but it's 51 yards. He's made longer. And I feel like if you're down by 13 points, getting that to 10 is attainable. Like Doug Peterson says he wants to end every drive in a kick. All he's done there is make us want to kick him. That's not the vibe. We want to see points. There is no way you're making 4th and 15. It was a dumbass decision. It was a miracle shot in the dark. And even if you did get it, you'd probably not end up converting anyway. You're struggling to move the ball all of a sudden. Dallas made adjustments. If you cannot make it work, take the 3 points. Just take the attempt. What's the worst that happens? They're at, the 40-yard line. It's not the end of the world. Just get the field goal through. It was a dumbass decision. I'm pretty sure the analytics on 4th and 15 would have said go for the field goal. I can't see there being someone like crunching the numbers like he's in the Matrix upstairs going, yeah, go for that, might as well. I think you'll nail that, mate. As soon as Cox went out injured, the defense fell apart. And you know what? I agree. And what really pissed me off was Malik Jackson going to the offensive bench to cool down. Like, not being funny. You're being paid a very significant amount of money. There are a lot of younger guys around you. The pass rush isn't producing. There's no Josh Sweat, no Barnett, no Cox. They're looking to you now as the guy, the big payday guy from last year. Had a brilliant resurgence after his ACL tear. And you just go and call off on a bench. While Fletcher Cox, who is injured and can't play, is on the bench with his teammates helping him out. Sort that out or leave the attitude at the door and you're gone in free agency. That's shambolic. Not a fan of that at all. Quentin Baldwin says Jeffrey Lurie saying how his job is safe while having a 4-10-1 team and it being 75 mil over the cap. Yeah, not good. Not a good look. There are going to be some big changes this offseason. A lot of people looking to Wentz, but that cap hit isn't exactly going to help considering the dead cap that incurred. You're looking at names like a Derek Barnett with his fifth-year option. Obviously, Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson. There is a video on this channel breaking down the moves I would make to get them under the cap. That might need an update, I think, given the current situation. If you guys want to see an update, let me know. There's going to be plenty of off-season coverage on the way. Lucas says to the Eagles, I'm going to kill myself when it's all your fault. Yeah, I mean, it probably is their fault. I might just put Granny back in the cage again. I might just put Granny back in the cage. And if you don't know what that means, I promise it's not as sadistic as it sounds. It was just a meme. Granny's fine. Our man Sean Nestor, our Phillies contributor, just has this fantastic gif of the water hose just suicide. Noticing a theme here, boys. Noticing a theme here. Quentin comes back again. Me telling my friends earlier that it's okay that I'm going to lose the fantasy championship. But it's okay because the Eagles might make the playoffs. Yeah, not being funny, man. I posted an article saying how the Eagles can still win the NFC East. That blew up and got a few thousand views, and then that happened. So that, good. Love that. Taylor's come through with his big rant. Says we are so effed if you think about it. I'm trying to be PG, boys. I'm trying to be PG. It says QB room is a mess. Injury plague for the 3rd year running. Missed the playoffs. Ulmer and cap hell. Staring down what should be a major rebuild in the offseason. A lot of change needs to happen, both front office and coaching staff. Totally agree. He then goes on Jeffrey Lurie saying all we can do is pray he grows some balls and does what we all know needs to happen. I don't know about that. I know Jeffrey Lurie is quite involved. I don't know how involved he is. There are differing rumors and viewpoints on that. But I think looking at, last year when Doug says, yeah, Mike Rowe's got a job. He's going to be back, and Carson Wentz. And then the next day, Jeff Lurie fires both of them. I think he's got that trigger finger about him. Does that pertain to Peterson and Schwartz and Rose? But that's where we need to be at right now. Like, where does Lurie view the accountability on this team? Does he see it as coaching staff? Does he see it as player personnel? Does he see it as front office? We don't know, and it's something we're going to have to pay very close attention to for sure. Eagles 5211 saying Howie paying for the roster. Yeah, not good, that, is it? Antonio says when Jalen Hurts starts to collapse under the same conditions 11 had and the defense is only a concept. I'll tell you what, there is a pattern though, isn't there, of the defense doing well and the offense being terrible, and then the offense doing well and the defense. There's never a level playing field where they're both average. They can never both be just all right and win a game. It's one has to be brilliant and the other one has to suck. And then the other one has to be good, and the other one has to be there's never a happy medium. But you're 100% right. I think Jalen Hurts has done a great job masking the deficiencies of the offense until a point he hits the wall. And Jalen Hurts can't be Superman every single game. There were flashes of it today. There were some brilliant plays. That throw to Alshon Jeffrey, maybe one of the best throws I've seen all season from him. 3 games. And obviously he had that beautiful touchdown to Deshaun Jackson, as well as a lot of rushing attempts that were just magically crafted. However, there was a real sense of him running for his life. There was a desperation element setting in. Almost it reminds me when Carson Wentz plays the Saints, when there's just that fuck it and chuck it type, just get it downfield and hope for the best. I saw that creep out, but in a rushing aspect where he would just take off straight away. He would stare down wide receivers. He stared down Sanders. I love this though from Move. Says it's not all on Hurts. Defense didn't show up. Play calling was bad. Hurts turned it over, but it's not all on him. And then it's all on Wentz. Wentz can make the defense play better, make the mediocre receivers catch, and make Doug be a better play caller. Shame on Wentz. Yeah, there's definitely a parity there. I think some people try and take that to the extreme though. I've always had the opinion, as you guys know, where you can just want both to succeed. You can want the starting quarterback to succeed without hating on the other one. And there shouldn't be a division if you're either on this side or that side. It should be, let's get to a mutual solution here. You know, there's no I'm right and you're wrong. It's this team is falling apart. Whichever guy is going to help it the most, just save it now, because it is all going to fall to pieces very, very quickly. And on that note, Proto Tyler says, should the Eagles coaching staff return? A very festive snowman saying stop. Yeah, I don't know how many are going to come back. I'd be very, very intrigued to see just how intense this roster blow-up is. But it's going to be nerve-wracking. Eagles just wants his guy, just wants a receiver. There are a few out there. I'm a big Jalen Waddle guy. I'll tell you what, I don't want to blow anything up too much, but when I was watching Henry Ruggs last year, I kept getting distracted by Jalen Waddle. And that's what you want to look for in draft tape, right? When you're looking at a prospect, you want to, if you get distracted by someone else, probably not a good sign for the player you're looking at, but also a very good sign for the player you're being drawn to. With Waddle coming out, I'm excited. I know a lot of people like Jamar Chase. I'll have my wide receiver rankings coming in the offseason. Stay locked in, all right? And then finally, the Jaquet-ass pussy today lining up against Michael Gallup. Yeah, it wasn't his finest moment. I'm happy I didn't make that song, and I went with 12 Days of Christmas instead. I had a verse done. I had a whole verse done. I recorded it, and I was like, nah, I want to be somewhat professional. So then I just photoshopped Santa hats on Eagles players, which is professional. But guys, that's it for today. It's only a little fly through, and because again my iPhone's dead and I'm having to record this on my MacBook that is currently catching fire. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. Thank you so much for all of your support this year. I'll have a big soppy New Year's video coming soon. We love you all hugely. Take care. Have a happy New Year. See you soon.